Hey guys, and welcome back to Building Habits. In case you're new here, this is a series where I introduce a set of rules you should try and follow in every game you play. The goal is to teach you strong fundamental principles that we will improve upon as we go. This series is my personal take on how to improve in chess, starting from 400 ELO all the way up to 2000 ELO and beyond. I'm going to choose a series of rules that I have to follow. What you might notice is that you will miss chances to play winning moves. That's okay. The goal here is to focus on the fundamentals, and I'm trying to get you guys to build good habits and play high percentage moves that will help you increase your rating. Level 3, if I had to summarize what level 3 habits is all about, for me, I'll just bring up our scene here, but if I had to summarize what it was all about or what the biggest differences are, I think one of the main things that we're going to focus on in, let's say, level 3 compared to level 2 is we're going to be focusing on openings a little bit more. We're no longer going to be autopiloting the exact same moves that we have been in the past. Now, we still will play a large amount of the exact same rules or exact same moves, but the number one thing we're going to try to do is we're going to try not to be reactive. We're going to try to be proactive. We're going to try to make our own decisions. So what it means is, yeah, I'm still going to bring out my knights first. Yeah, I'm still going to bring my bishop out. I'm still going to go for the same type of setups. But am I going to play my queen and my rooks, always to the exact same squares? No, I'm going to make conscious choices now about where I put my pieces. Before, I was putting them on the exact same squares every time. Now, I'm going to be following the same rules, but I'm going to be looking to put my pieces on the best available square. And I'll try to explain as we go why I'm putting it on a certain square and why it might be better than just an autopilot move being rooks to the middle. Because the rooks to the middle might not be good if the center is all closed off, right? It might be good to actually have the rook on one of the other open files. So just small things like that are really going to make a difference, and we're going to start to think a little bit more for ourselves. Captain Feathersworth, thanks for the gifted sub, and King Bird with 40 months. So the one thing that we're going to try to differentiate from between level 2 and level 3 is the autopilot. Okay, we do not want to necessarily robotically make the exact same moves every time. I think that that strategy has worked, but I don't think it'll work going forward. We're at 1100. Players are starting to be very well rounded, starting to know some openings. And that's the other thing. Apart from the difference between reactive and proactive, the other main difference, and we're going to spend some time looking at this, is we're going to have a look at openings just a tiny bit. We're not going to necessarily memorize tons and tons of theory, but what I am going to do is if I see my opponents responding the exact same way to what I'm doing, I'm going to commit some of those lines to memory. It's like, hey, if I'm playing e4 and I'm getting this position, let's say 5 times out of 10, I'm going to start looking at this position and coming up with the best moves. I'm going to start doing a little bit of analysis after the game and say, hey, if I'm getting this every time, I should know exactly what to do. I shouldn't be thinking about this every time. This should be automatic, right? So whatever the opening is for white or for black, we're going to start to think just a little bit more about our opening moves and making sure that we're not getting a terrible position. And we're I think it'll be easier to explain as we see those things happen over the board. All right, so there's a number of rules that have changed. Take a look at them. In the end games, it's going to be very, very similar to what we've been doing. There are going to be a few principles like basic pawn end games, basic rook end games that I think you should absolutely know at this level. And what's going to happen is I'm not going to mention them until they happen. So if I suddenly get a king and pawn end game against the king, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it perfectly. I'm going to win the game. And then we're going to analyze and I'm going to show you guys exactly why you need to remember that. So there's going to be a few small, very basic end games that you guys need to know at this level, in my opinion. When they happen, I'm going to play them properly. And then we're going to analyze them, and you guys are going to have to remember them. So there are going to be a few more things you guys are going to have to commit to memory. A few more things that need to be committed to memory. But that makes sense in chess. As you progress up the rating ladder, you're going to have to remember more and more things. The things that you worked on remembering in the previous level are now going to have to be more second nature, more instinct, right? Those things are not going to be things you have to actively remember. Hopefully, those are things you've already committed to memory. Now we have some new things that we're going to have to remember. That's about the best type of explanation. But the one thing about this level is there's not going to be a clear difference between level 2 and level 3. It's going to be a lot more analyzing, remembering, and mostly trying to be more proactive and less reactive. Okay, you'll notice that I still have, don't resign. I still think that's important. After this level, I think we'll start to take that rule off, but I still think we should never resign. When Dan played Rapid today at 12-1300, I said, dude, don't resign this pawn endgame. We got to check if your opponent knows it. Same thing applies here. We're still 1100. I think we definitely don't resign. Gambits, I still don't think we're going to be playing any gambits ourselves, but that's not to say you can't do it at this level. I just think that's going to keep it simple. No gambits, no sacrifices. We'll get to all that stuff in the next level. But this is going to be the first level where we're really starting to be conscious of our openings. We're going to be remembering a lot more basic patterns and principles. So it's going to be a lot of knowledge that we're going to have to consume and remember. So it is going to be a more difficult level. But this is the final, I would say, formative level. Before the next level, we really start to take the training wheels off and branch out completely. Here we go. All right, we're 1100. I always say that the first game started out a little slowly, and here we go. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, and another important thing that you'll find on the rule list is let's just say tension, and it goes with the same thing. Are we gonna blindly autopilot every single capture we see? We're gonna take it? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, right? But it does mean that we're going to take that rule about being proactive and we're going to apply it to trades as well. If there's a trade, we're not just going to blindly take it, but we're still going to take most trades. So let's see if I can start explaining some of the differences as we get to those games. Also, C3. I mentioned that this was a completely destructive thing to our habit series, and it looks like we'll get a game right now where that explains it. Or we absolutely will not. We're getting a Jerome. Or we're not getting a Jerome. Okay? Don't know what I'm seeing here, but I think I may have just gone back to level 1. I think I just went back to level 1, guys. Is this guy for real? You think you're just going to checkmate me? Dude, I'm on level 3 habits. I'm 1100. Is this a joke? What's going on here? You just stacked a piece? Yeah, are we really on level 3? Is this 1100? Is this real life? What the hell am I looking at? This guy just sacked a bishop, and he thinks I'm just going to fall for some sort of... Like I've learned nothing? Like I've learned nothing? Okay, let me defend the threat. What's Chief here going to do? I don't understand. Oh, D3. Sorry, guys, D3. I think I missed that one. D3. Yeah, the follow-up D3. Very strong. Okay, the knight is going to leave, and I am going to continue my development. Okay, bishop E3. Now, trade or no trade? First of all, definitely trade in this case because I am up material. All right, I am up a full piece. So there's not even going to be a debate. If I see a trade now, I am going to be taking it, okay? Because I am up material. That's going to be very, very good. In this position, I want to castle, but I literally cannot castle. I actually can't. So I'm going to bring my rook here, and I'd like to bring my king around my rook. How do I bring my king around my rook? I have to take control of this diagonal. I have to take control of this diagonal, right? So let's say we offer a trade, and I want to play this move. That's my next intention. Okay, but trades, easy. Definitely taking trades. Definitely taking trades, no question. Porker barely know her. Thanks for the 2 months. And Banter Bullet 57, like I said before. So I wish that we could have had a different first game to start things off, because what we're getting here is highly unusual that the guy has sacked an entire piece to start things off. It's not really something I can teach very well. It's like, okay, the guy's gonna sack a piece off. I'll have to take it. I'll have to take it. I'm trying to go for trades at all points of the game here. Now, this is a perfect example of the type of trade we are not going to be doing. Okay? We are not going to be doing. Especially when we see this C pawn here. Especially when there's an E pawn backing it up. Am I trading my center pawn for a center pawn? Common mistake. Common mistake. No, you're not. Remember, when you take here, your opponent takes back like this or like this. I'm actually trading this pawn for this pawn. Or this pawn for this pawn. Is there any world where I would ever want to trade my center pawn for a pawn that's not even in the center? No. Just think of it that way. It's the easiest way to understand why this is not a fair trade. There's a center pawn hanging. Let's take it. Let's take it. Okay, knight there. Again, I said since we're up material, trades are going to be instant. I am very interested in trades at this point. Knight there. Again, I don't really get the point of it. There's a pawn hanging here. We don't need to be too greedy at the moment. I'm just going to move my king, and I want to bring my rook over. Okay, he takes here. Let's take it back. My instinct would probably be, generally speaking, to take with the knight because I want more trades. So I'm going to take with the knight. Okay, he's trading everything, which is very friendly of him. Very friendly of him. I said I wanted to bring my rook over, so let's do that. Let's do that. It hasn't been a difficult game so far. I agree. I agree. Let's bring the rook down. That's a fork. Our knight's being attacked. Got to move the knight. And, you know, of all the things, my guy has walked into a very pretty checkmate to start off our stream here. +8. Knight c5 is checkmate. It was not a difficult game, but it wasn't even competitive. I don't know what this opening is. Is this, guys? Do we have any? Are there any 1100s in chat? Can you guys confirm or deny? Like, is this normal? Is this should I know about this? Hey Dan, thanks buddy. Right. Perfectly normal. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, guys, we might be in for a stream here. We might be in for a stream. If this is perfectly normal, I don't know what we're in for in level 3, boys. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, guys, I'll be honest. I'm not going to analyze that one. We're going to go to the next one. I feel like this is an outlier. You guys are saying it's normal. I just wait till I see it again. You know what I mean? We got to wait till we see it again because so far this is an outlier to me. Trojan Baguette, thanks for the 2 months. Okay. Here we go, guys. E4. I am going to stick with the move E4. I am going to stick with the move E4, and I'm really happy that he played this move because it allows me to show you guys a very distinct difference between level 1, 2, and now 3. Okay, so we're going to start with this. Now, every time we've seen D5, we take it, right? Because we automatically take. What we're learning in level 3 is we're going to learn a few openings, and we're going to learn to keep the tension. So we're going to play this. Knight C3. Okay, Knight C3, we're going to take back. And we'll go over this afterwards, but I want to show you guys that this is the opening that I'm going to be using going forwards. This is the opening I'm going to be using going forwards. Mayo actually showcased this opening to Dan in their lesson. And I know it might seem advanced and it might seem like a lot to remember, but I'm going to take some time after this game and really explain in depth what my idea is with this opening and why it's something that's very, very simple to implement. I'm going to make some moves that are not very habitual right now, and the reason I'm doing them is because this is an opening that we're going to briefly study together. So I'm going to play Queen E2. You say, what the hell? Dude, what are you doing? You're moving your queen? It's not habits at all. That's okay. This is part of the opening. We'll go over it after. We'll go over it after. So we're still going to follow the habits, but we're just going to play the opening phase with some of the things, the moves that we've committed to memory. And after we're out of the opening, we're going to, fall back on the general principles and rules that you'll find, on the screen right now or in the habits info command. Does the opening have a name? Just Caro-Kann 2 Knights. It's the easiest way. So queen e2 might look like an advanced move, but this is not something that I'm saying, hey, generally bring your queen to e2. Not at all. This is a very specific move. It's part of this opening. And our opponent is really thinking here. He's really thinking. What is considered an advanced tactic? I would say an advanced tactic is just utilizing maybe pins, forks, and skewers, but not just one move threats. Maybe setting it up like a 2-move tactic. By the way, I thought we were playing a guy named River Dan. I thought I was playing River Dan. Okay, it goes g6. I'm going to bring my bishop out to a square that is probably not unfamiliar to you guys. Bishop f5. And now I get a chance at the 1000, 1200 level to blunder my queen with knight e5. Just hoping to bait my opponent into taking my queen. And he did. And we just fucking KO'd this guy. That's what level 3 is all about. Boys, I'm telling you, level 3 habits, 9-move wins. This is the new standard for you guys. You guys are stuck at level 2. You're wondering, where's the promised land? What does the future look like? It looks like this. It looks like 9-move wins every single goddamn game. Now, we analyze it. I told you I was going to analyze it. This is going to be something that we're going to take our time on. Take our time on. Okay? As I said, what I'm doing in the opening here is not part of the habits. This doesn't follow the habits rules. You have to treat it as something separate. Treat it as something that is like opening theory. Okay? We're not going to go in great depth. I don't like boring people with opening theory, but it's really nice when you play an opening that you have an idea how you're going to develop your pieces and where you're going to put them before you even start the game. You guys are saying no sacrifices. Guys, I've already addressed that. This is not part of the habits. This is the opening phase. We are not going to be following the habits for the opening phase. This is stuff that you guys are going to have to remember. Commit to memory. There are definitely going to be some things in the openings that we're going to learn together that are not going to be following the habits. You're going to follow the habits after. Now, 96.2. Get him out of here. So, it's called the two knights. Okay? So we're going to be playing this opening going forward whenever we play against the Caro-Kann. We're not going to be taking it. Previously, this was a capture. We would do it on the spot. Okay? Knight c3. Suddenly, we are taking back. And this is how I want you guys to play the opening. First of all, after knight c3, your opponents are probably going to take this pawn, I would say, 80% of the time. Maybe higher. You're going to take back. Okay? Got a knight in the middle of the board. If you guys remember Dan and Mayo's lesson, you'll remember that the move bishop f5 was played by black. If they play bishop f5, and this is very natural in the Caro-Kann, you're going to bring the knight back to g3. What if you push to d4? Don't worry, guys. I will look at everything. Not in tons and tons of depth, because we can't spend 2 hours on this, although I could. I'm going to give you guys the basic rundown. Knight g3. Okay, you're going to bring your knight back, and you're going to attack the bishop. The bishop's going to go to g6, because of course it is. You're going to play h4. You're going to try to trap the bishop and win it. Your opponent is going to do something that does not allow that to happen. h6 or h5, two of the only moves on the board, basically. As soon as they do this, you're going to play knight e5. And I know it might be like, man, this is really complicated. This is super advanced. This is just one line. I'm just going to commit it to memory. Knight e5. Hitting the bishop, and let's just say if I go here, if you were able to do this, that is a disaster. Your opponent's position is so bad here. Almost losing on the spot. He's not going to allow that. He's going to go here. Doesn't want that to happen. Bishop h7. Right. Okay, we're gonna immediately target Immediately target this. Okay, you're going to threaten checkmate in 1. He's got to defend it. How can he defend it? Well, he actually only has 1 move. I know that might sound surprising, but he only has 1 move. If he plays queen d5 to defend it, well, you can already play bishop c4, and you're just completely winning the game immediately. Game's already over. Game's already over. So they're going to play g6. You know, going to play g6. Now, great thing to do after g6 is, just like I did, you're going to play bishop c4. And it's like, wait a minute. How many people are you going to checkmate like this? Probably 7. 7 people. In your chess career, you will checkmate 7 people like this. 7. Enjoy all of those games. Now, you're threatening checkmate in 1. Other than those 7 people, they might come up with this move. They might come up with it. And you're going to take this queen, and you're going to put it right back. You're going to save it. You're going to save it. You're going to put it back to e2. Now, what are you threatening here? You are threatening to play knight takes pawn and queen takes e6, and you're going to mate this guy. That is what you're threatening. So if he does something like this, you're going to take this, and you're going to mate the guy. How many people will you checkmate like this? About 11. About 11. Enjoy them. Now, a select few people are going to play queen e7, and that's the best move. And then you're going to go right back to your habits, guys. You're going to go right back to your habits. You're going to play moves like d4, like castling, like bishop out, like rooks to the middle, suck the... Hey, you guys get the idea. You guys get the idea. But the point is, you're setting yourself up for success with this opening. You're setting yourself up for success with the opening. So these are, I mean, let's just see how many moves we've made. Can we see here? 10 moves. So this is like 10 moves of opening. You could call it theory. We're setting ourselves up. There's a lot of ways that your opponent is going to be messing this up already. Let's be clear. He might let you take this bishop. He might let you checkmate him here. He might let you checkmate him there. He might blunder the knight takes f7. This is just stuff that will happen in your games. And this is an example of what you do when someone plays bishop f5. If someone plays bishop g4, and without going into a lot of detail, we're going to stick to the habits. We're going to go h3. He's probably going to take. Let's just say he goes back. Play knight here. If the bishop goes here, play h4, and you are in the exact same position that we just looked at. Okay? Exact same, I promise you. As bishop f5. Knight g3. Exact same position. Now, if he takes your knight, just take it back and follow the habits here. That's all you need to do. Follow the habits. Get a pawn in the middle of the board. Get your bishop out. Get this bishop out. Castle. Rooks to the middle. You guys know the drill. Okay? Just follow the habits. Right? And those are the 2 most common moves. What else? Knight here. And this is what happened in my game. You guys remember. Why did I play this queen move? Well, this is something you're just going to commit to memory. This is what you're going to play. You're going to bring your queen out. You might be like, dude, why are you bringing your queen out? I'm going to show you. If he plays here, you're going to checkmate him. How many people are you going to mate like this? Easily 15. Easily. Okay? So this is going to be very common. I checkmate people like this on Sub Sunday all the time. Blunder. Okay? Now, if he brings his bishop out again, stick to the habits, h3. If he ever brings his bishop there, we're always going to have that habit move h3. That's always there for you. That's always there for you. Okay? Now, if he plays moves like bishop to f5, we're no longer going to do the exact same thing. Okay? We're just going to take this knight. He's going to have to take this way because there's a pin. It's kind of one of the main ideas why we put our queen there. And then from this point, we're going to stick to the habits. Let's bring our pawn up. Let's get our bishop out. We're going to move our queen, bring our bishop, castle. That's good enough for us. Okay? There are more advanced ways to play this with a bishop on g2. Don't need to bother with it. Keep it nice and simple. Just get your pieces out. Move your queen out of the way to get the bishop out. Maybe to c4, and you can pick a side to castle. Go for it. Okay? Go for it. Lots of ways to play this. Do I think this is going to happen a lot? No, I think this is going to be pretty uncommon. pretty uncommon, which is why I'm spending the least amount of time on it. Follow the habits from here. That'll be good enough. Okay, queen e2. You might be like, wait, what if he played like he did in the game? Well, let's see. He wants to get his bishop out, but he can't do it. Now, how tilted is a Caro-Kann player that can't bring their bishop out after playing those two moves? Let me tell you. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being tilted, my guy is easily a 9 to 10. He can't put his bishop here. That's so why did my opponent play this? Because he needed to put it there. It was like it was hurting his soul, his very being. After bishop f5, I played knight e5, and I blundered my queen. And he took it. How many people are you going to checkmate like this? One. You're all going to play this guy, River Den, and you're all going to checkmate him the same way. We're going to pile up on River Den. The same guy is going to lose to every single one of you in chat. Promise you. River Den, we're coming for you. He's going to take massive L's in his career. Now, does he have to play this? No, of course. He could play a lot of different things. Let's say knight here. Well, you guys are going to see my bishop go to the same square. And when the knight goes here, what are we going to do? We're going to do the same move. You're going to blunder your queen. How many are you going to mate like this? Tons of people. This is, oh, guys, you guys are going to be sailing. You see how many queen sacks for checkmate we have in this opening? And what are you guys noticing about the opening? Hopefully you're noticing, hey, the knight often goes here. The bishop often goes there. Start to understand where the pieces go in this opening, where they belong. Start to put them there more. Start to put them there all the time. Okay? So sure, after this, he can stop checkmate by going here. But then you're going to move your queen back. And this guy, without his bishop out here, he won't know what to do. He will literally be so confused, I promise you. All you're going to do is follow habits. So you can see that as we improve to level 3, what I'm trying to set you guys up for is a few opening moves, a few ideas, and then you're going to go right back to the habits after that. You're not going to memorize the whole game. So you're just going to set yourself up for success, a good opening position, and then we have habits coming right after that, all right? So we're going to bring our queen back. We got our bishop out, knight. We're going to castle. We're looking to get our pawn either to d4 or d3, get our bishop out, rooks to the middle. We've done this before. Okay, so most things after pawn takes, knight takes e4. I know I talk quickly. I know I spoke, without going into too much detail, but hopefully you guys have a very brief idea about what we are supposed to do against most of Black's replies. Most of their replies. Okay, you're not going to be perfect, but hopefully you have an idea where the pieces go. Whenever you see this move, we spoke about h3. Bishop f5, we spoke about the knight coming back. Knight f6, we spoke about queen e2. There's one thing that we didn't speak about, which was d4. Everyone was like, hey, dude, what do I do about d4? Don't worry, guys. d4 is an inaccuracy. we're chilling. Okay, so you play knight e2. You attack the pawn. Okay. He's got to defend it. How can he defend it? How can he defend it? Very simple. He's got one move. He's got one move. Okay. So immediately when he plays that, you're just going to crack it open. You're just going to crack it open. We don't want to be sitting in closed position. So we're going to go like this. Now, he can take it. That's fine. He might be stubborn. He might want to keep defending it. The only thing we're going to remember is that if he defends it, you're going to go here. And now you're going to win the pawn with the move queen a4. Okay? This is going to pin the knight, and it's going to win this pawn by force. By force. If he plays e5, it's still pinned. So you're going to take this pawn next. What if he goes d3? He can go d3. It's not going to save his pawn, right? It's not going to save his pawn. He can go d3. But this pawn, at some point in this game, is going to be taken by your bishop right here. There's no way that these pieces can support this pawn better than these pieces can attack this pawn. Does that make sense? There's no way. There's no way. That's just the bottom line. What if he goes d3 here, everyone's saying? What about d3 here? What about d3 here? Guys, what did I just say? There's no way that this army can support that guy better than this army can attack it. There's no way. Knight f4. I'm going to attack this pawn. What are you guys going to do? c4? You're going to blunder a pawn. I have queen a4 check, and I'm going to take this pawn. And then I'm going to take his homie on d3. So I'm going to win 2 pawns. You're going to give me 2 extra pawns. It's not going to work. My knight here threatens this pawn, and there's no way these guys can defend it. It's just impossible. Okay? So just plain and simple, if people start pushing their pawn way up the board like that, that's called overextending. That's called overextending. Fair question. What about d3 before c5? Sure. Sure, go for it. I'll take it. You're going to take with your queen? That's fine with me. It's fine with me. I'm just going to move my knight somewhere. Let's say here. Guard my pawn. Your queen's going to have to leave. And then I play d4. Who's going to complain about this? I've got 2 knights. I've got 2 central pawns. It's a beautiful position. I'm going to put my bishop out exactly where I always put it. I'm going to castle. Nobody's complaining here. Nobody's complaining here. So, after knight f3, d5, I know we only spent about 10, 15 minutes on it. But that is what we're going to do. I know it's fast, but that 10, 15 minutes, we're going to try to commit that to memory. Every one of us. As we're moving to level 3, we're going to commit that to memory. Of course, there are other moves that could be played. I can't possibly talk about, every single move. But if you see a move that's not something we discussed, just use habits. You're never going to, get a terrible position just using habits. We've played against the Caro-Kann before not knowing any of this, and we still got a great position. We still managed, So we're going to play knight c3, and if you see something that's unfamiliar, just use habits. Just use habits. Okay? And what did we experience in this game, start to finish? Well, this was our game. We checkmated the guy. We KO'd him. That's it. So that's the Caro-Kann in a nutshell. That's how we're going to handle it. When we play it another time, you guys are probably going to see it. All right? So let's leave it at that. That was a lot. Hopefully you guys took your notes. We're going to go back. And we're going to resume. Just some simple tips, moves you need to remember. You remember those, your Caro-Kann is going to improve like times 100. Times 100. So, 5-minute game. Let's go. Let's go. e4. You guys know we're going to stick with e5. Knight there. We're going to stick with this. Bishop there. We're going to stick with this. It's a move we've done before. Bishop back. Okay. I've never seen that in my life. I've never seen that. He's playing the delayed Italian. The delayed Italian. It's the Rui Italian. Okay. So, imagine he had just played bishop there. Where would I go? I would go bishop c5. We've talked about this before, right? I wouldn't go knight here because of knight g5. We'll talk about it after. Bishop c5. Solid. Why am I going to choose something different just because I've got a6? I'm not going to overreact. This is fine. Knight out. d6. We've seen this before. We've seen this before. Okay, d3. Castle. Bishop out. h6. You guys have seen these type of habits before. And bishop to h4. And wow, it's almost like I scripted this whole stream. This is perfect. Oh, this is going to be the best thing. We're going to analyze this after, regardless of the result. Don't worry. Bishop h4. Can anyone help me with the move here based on what we know? We know the knight d5 is coming. Can anyone help me out? How do I get out of this? I'm seeing a lot of bishop e6, which is the move I'm going to go for. I'm seeing some guys mentioning knight b8 to d7. Definitely some bonus marks to those guys. Knight b8 to d7. But when we can help it, we are going to try to avoid losing time in the opening. Putting our knight here and then just putting it straight back. Obviously, that's a great solution. Bonus marks to those guys. But we have to find better ways to get out of pins. Dan played queen c8 here. Oh, it was like bishop d7 or bishop e6. And then Dan played queen c8. Oof. Oof, we got to get Dan some habits. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's not a move Dan would make. That's like River Dan. That's a River Dan move. Oh. Oh, no, that's a River Dan move. We don't be River Dan. A3. Okay. We're going to continue with our habits here, guys. Queen up. We're going to bring the rook to the middle. Now, what we're going to talk about next is rook placement. Rook placement. Where do I want my rooks in this game? We get attacked, we go back, just like the habits so far. Where do I want my rooks? We're going to start not just bringing the rooks directly to the middle without any thought. We're going to start thinking about exactly where we want to put them. Exactly where we want to put them. Not like every game, oh, rook here, that's it. We're going to start actively thinking, well, actually, where's the best place for them? Where's the best place? So I need 2 squares. When you give an answer, you're getting me 2 squares. Where are the 2 rooks going to go? Someone said rook f4. All right, my guy's my guy's a forward thinker. I see a lot of f7, f8. Hey, very reasonable, guys. Very reasonable. I like this answer. I also like f8, e8 answer. Big fan of that. However, I am seeing a lot of f8, d8. However, one thing that you guys can pat yourself on the back for is most people have said rook f8. And you guys were absolutely right. Because of this, we have an open file. We should not ever move that rook to the center because we're following old habits. No, this is already on a great square. I'm going to bring my rook here. Why do I not want a rook on d8? Let me explain it to you. Number 1, you're walking into a pin again, so your knight can't move. That should already convince you it's not good. Number 2, rook on d8. What are you guys planning to do? You're probably planning to play d5. Am I right? You guys want to play d5, takes, and you want the rook to support the pawn. Wrong. After you play d5, takes, white has an open file on your pawn here. So you want your rook here to support that pawn. So d5 is a great idea, but you want your rook to support what's going to be vulnerable after you play d5. You don't want your rook to support d5. You're already supporting d5 with 3 things. So you put your rook here because you're anticipating it's going to open up. So rook e8 is categorically better than rook d8, by far. By far. Thanks, Tungo Man, for the 2 months. Welcome back, dude. He's going to take. We're going to take back. We have the center. We undoubled our pawns. And look, everyone pat yourself on the back. You're a genius. You put the rook on e8. It's defending the pawn now. It's helping support it going forward. It's on an open file, but we're already 1 step ahead of him. Way to go, guys. Way to go. Now, pawn move in the center. Sure, we've sort of finished all our development. We don't have any pawn moves to do over here. Sure, I'll do a pawn move in the center. We'll take with the knight. Why? Because we're not pinned to our own damn rook. And look, after e4, suddenly the rooks are on the 2 open files in the position. How did I do that? Magic. What a position. Not something we're going to complain about. c4. Full credit to my opponent. That's a fantastic move. I'm going to push my pawn as a means of trying to save it. Big fan of that move from my opponent, though. It was pinned to my queen. Could not take it. I like this move from him. c4. He's trying to undermine my center. Oh, full credit to him as well for giving me a free piece. We're going to take it. Oh, And whenever we're up material, guys, we always trade. And hey, let's not forget our tactics. That's a discovered attack. Don't forget those tactics. Save our queen. Let's save our queen. And oh, let's not forget those tactics. Oh yeah, that's a little trickier than normal. That's right, it's an advanced tactic. Oh, that's right, we know those now. Look at us. Look at us. And how about let's bring a rook in to try to finish things off. Is our opponent going to be resilient enough to defend this? Let's see if he finds a good move. Let's see if he finds a good move. He did not find a good move. Now, you might say, hey, it's unfair. You're playing too good all of a sudden. It's like level 2, level 3. Those are worlds apart. I disagree. I disagree. Some very small decisions were made differently from previous habits to this habits, but it made a world of difference. Let's examine. 94.7. Get him out of here. So, first of all, this is an opening we've been playing the entire time. So let's breeze through this. We've seen this before. We know it's a good opening. Boom. Okay. Here, bishop e6. So I'm going to come back to this afterwards, and we're going to look at this moment with this pin. But for now, bishop e6. Let's just leave it there. He took. This is a great way to make sure if knight d5 we were going to take it. Queen d7, habits. Habits, bring our bishop back. This is all level 2 habits, though. Nothing I've done here is really from level 3. Rook e8. Now, this is from level 3. And as I said, that's a very small decision to put the rook there instead of there. But it makes the world of difference. Okay? Rook here. We know we're going to push our center pawn. We want to support this guy. Because remember, this move in itself, what's the most likely scenario? It's that he takes and we take. That's going to open up this file for him and this file for us. So we got to be there ahead of time. And you all did a good job saying that this rook should stay here. That's 100% correct. For the guys that said rook f7, rook d8, very good. But you're going to need to follow that up with something. And that something might be knight h5 to f4, whatever. But that's, that's a very serious, I would say that's called advanced plan making, For now, something like this and just pushing in the center is nice and simple, and it got us a fantastic position. But if you can follow this up correctly and apply pressure down here on that pawn, that's a fantastic plan as well. Fantastic plan as well. But I like this. Nice and simple. Okay, this is, again, level 2 habits. Level 2 habits, again, we're pushing a pawn in the center. Right? I don't have any random pawn moves to make here. I've already developed all my pieces. I've got h6. This is my random pawn move. Capturing towards the center. Here we go. Pushing a pawn in the center. I've got nothing else to do. So this is all level 2 habits. Taking that guy. Okay, my pawn's being attacked. d4. Taking a free piece. Trading automatically, especially when up material. And a basic tactic that we would have found in level 2 habits. So what I'm saying is that this whole game had to look like an absolute crush. And it was. But what did we do differently between level 2 and level 3? Does anyone know? It was actually only this move. Only that move. Everything else was level 2. So it might have looked like a very impressive game, but the only thing we did differently was the rook, truly. Everything else was all level 2 habits. And here for the finish, this is a slightly more advanced tactic using this pin, but those are the ones that you guys have to start seeing. Okay, obviously when we do this series, I'm going to be playing all the tactics. You guys are just going to get in the rhythm of like, that's a tactic. Okay, got to start remembering that. You gotta go study your tactics and apply them in the game. Obviously, I'm going to be playing them every time. It's going to be a little, not going to be representing very well that, hey, you might miss tactics and it happens. Believe me. But I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when it's executed properly. Diagonal pin, we can take that. That is not a defender. Okay, and here, you could have played maybe rook here to try to stop me. Didn't matter. At this point, he was getting checkmated. GG. So I want to reiterate, there was not a lot from level 3 that allowed me to win this game. Okay, this was a level 2 win. Now, I said I was going to go back and talk about the opening. Because, as I said, in level 3, one thing we're going to be doing is just be that little bit more conscious of the openings, so we make sure we have a good position going into the middle game. I don't ever want you guys following the habits to get a bad opening. Bad openings are the worst. They set you up for failure in the middle game. We're going to try to start every game to, a reasonable degree, get those first 10 moves in solid, not be in a worse position right out of the gate. Try to set yourself up for success. Okay, now, one thing we have here is we have our opponent playing bishop h4. Now, you guys remember, when we play white, this is something that I tell you guys to do. I tell you guys to do this. So, it should also be very clear that when you play with the black pieces, you have to watch out for that. Just as much as it's fun for you to do as white, it's going to happen to you when you play black. So you have to be ready for that. So I have to tell you guys now, hey, what are we going to do about this with black? And this is exactly what your opponent should be doing if they're ever facing it and you're playing white. Now, if a guy's a good player, he's going to know how to handle it from both sides. But right now, I feel like everyone knows how to play this, and knight d5. Nice and easy. You guys are remembering that pretty well. But I don't feel like we quite know how to defend this with black that well. So we're going to make sure we establish that before we move forward. We said bishop e6. Bishop e6 is good. If knight d5, we have to take it. Right? This is the only way to avoid that. The bishop's going to take. And white's going to be a little bit better here. White has the 2 bishops. It's not a great position. In fact, it's a position I don't want you guys to be in. This is a level 2 answer. Bishop e6 takes. Do I want you guys to be playing knight b8, knight d7 here? No. That's overly fancy, and it loses a lot of time. Do I want you guys to be playing g5? Well, you guys already know the answer. In general, I don't want you guys to be playing g5. I think that's a weakening move, and knowing exactly when to do it and when not to do it can be very difficult. So the first thing that I'll start by saying is that if you have the option, and this game was an example where you have the option, if you have the option to play h6 to prevent this pin, I would say take it. I would say take it. Take that opportunity. Just don't deal with it. h6 just prevents the entire thing. Then it's just not a concern. Then it's not a concern. Okay? Now, that's not going to be the case all the time. There are going to be cases where he plays d3 earlier. He has that move. But let's just say, if possible, if our opponent plays e4 and then d3, I'm not going to play h6. Within reason, guys. But generally, if you can get your pieces out and you have a choice between maybe this move, castling, and you could choose h6 to prevent that instead, let's go with h6. Okay? So we're going to go with h6. If we come to a position that, h6 doesn't work in, we'll analyze that when we get there. But for now, the 5-second explanation is play h6 to prevent this move before it happens. Okay? So that's it. That's the explanation. That's it. We're going to go back and get another game. But that's how we're going to try to deal with this for now. If it ends up happening to us, we still have our bishop e6 idea. We're not going to be helpless. We all know bishop e6 is a way to stop knight d5. But h6, to prevent it from happening at all, might work even better. Okay. Next game, as I said. Next game. All right. So the bishop's diagonal is open. So you guys remember, we're going to play h6. I feel like I should have worded that better. Okay. That was a fun one. Well, game aborted, boys. On to the next one, Looks like we'll get the white pieces next time. Well, we avoided having to deal with that. Yep, give me those white pieces. All right, nice and easy. Okay, starting with e4. On to the next one. Here we go. How to avoid having the black pieces 101. Only need to study white. If you don't play black ever. Okay, make them abort. There you go. E4. Now we've seen C5. We're still gonna go knight F3. And you guys might be wondering, what opening are we gonna do? What opening are we gonna do? How are we gonna play against the Sicilian? Because I said level 3 was all about openings. Okay, we're gonna come up with openings against the Sicilian the same way we came up with an opening against C6 D5. And we're not going to go in serious depth. We're not going to go in serious depth. Okay, we're going to keep it nice and simple. Nice and simple. So for now, I'm going to play bishop c4. Okay, I'm going to play bishop c4. Now, guys, it's level 3. We're cracked now. We're cracked now. Guys, level 3. I mean, we're sailing in level 3. I'm telling you. We put that level 2 stuff behind us. All right, he goes e5. We can open things up immediately. I'm going to play bishop c4. Eham, thanks for the bits. And Buck81, and thanks for the 2 months. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Okay, well, let's get a castle in. Let's get a castle in. Knight out. Makes a lot of sense what my opponent's doing. Let's bring the rook to the middle. And let's play the move d4. d4, very, let's say aggressive, a little more aggressive move. Our whole point of c3 is to play d4. So there's not going to be many situations where I play c3 and I don't follow up with d4, just so you know. So I could play d3, but my plan is to play d4 pretty much all the time. Okay, play d6. He played d6. I'm going to utilize something that we just talked about. How beautiful it is. h3. Wow. Wow, what an interesting level 3 habit we're developing. There's no bishop g4 to pin our knight anymore. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Wait, bishop here? Are you telling me I can do pawn to d5 and fork my opponent's pieces? I can't be that lucky, can I? I can't be that lucky. Is it that easy? Is level 3 that easy? Oh, no, it's not that easy. Damn. Well, I thought it was going to be that easy. He's attacking my bishop. I thought it was going to be that. I really did. What's up, Sexier Car? Okay, we're going to take this pawn. We're going to take this pawn. What if he took the pawn on e4? I am going to leave that one to you. All right, rook takes. We're going to go back to the habits. Let's get developed. Queen d5 fork. Guys, could we escort that guy out? I think he's looking for the level 1 classroom. This is actually level 3 habits. Could we, someone help him find the right class? Yeah, let's take that. Okay, let's keep developing. All right, rook over. And why am I bringing my rooks here? Is it arbitrary? No. I already had my rook here supporting my pawn, and this is the only open file that I have available to me. Semi-open file. Right? So that's why I'm bringing my rook here. So that was a fairly easy decision for me. It was a fairly easy decision. Okay, my bishop could be on a better square. There's lots of things. Should I be playing knight g5 and knight e6? Yes. It advanced. It advanced. He goes bishop back. That's okay. What are we going to do here? How about some pawn moves? How about some pawn moves? We got our bishop on g5, knight out, pawn push. We got an open file against the pawn. Why don't we double up against that? Put pressure. If my opponent has to take with this pawn, how many times have we taken that knight? Pretty much 10 out of 10. And we're going to do it again here. Okay, I'm going to finish doubling my rooks. Okay. I've pretty much done everything, right? Pretty much done everything. I could keep finishing my random pawn moves over here. B3 would also be very good. A3, both are fine. Both are fine. Okay. But right after we do this, we're going to have to eventually do something else, which is improve some of our pieces. Okay. Rook's doing exactly what they want to do. Knight, doing nothing. Knight needs to be doing something. Identify where you want to put your knight. That's step one. Where do we want to put our knight? Some good squares. Where would those be? I'm seeing a lot of F5. I'm not seeing a lot of D5, which is a little disappointing. D5 and F5 need to be the answers, not just F5. D5 and F5. And the reason why these are going to be answers is hopefully it points us in the right direction. I want to bring my knight to E3. E3 allows me to go to both squares. Much more flexible rather than just going straight to F5. Start like this. I don't know which one's going to be better. I know both of them are going to be good. Okay. Between these two squares, now I can make the decision for myself. Which one is better? Well, I like F5 better because it doesn't block my rooks, and it actually makes a threat on that pawn. So I am going to choose F5. Was it faster to go here? Absolutely. But I like the idea of choosing the more flexible option so you can make the choice later based on the position that develops. Plus, knight on H4, that's a move of the knight to the side of the board. I like the idea of keeping the knight centralized. Talking about moves that go in the center. I like that a lot more. So knight d2, knight f1, knight e3 is a maneuver I like significantly better than knight h4, f5. Better habits, sticking towards the middle. Trades. Trades. Maybe a check. Maybe a check. Four seconds. We can do a safe pre-move maybe. Oh, let's trade. I'm up a pawn. Pre-move to the middle. Trade pawns with him. Pre-move, pre-move, pre-move. Damn it, he's playing well. I don't think I can make it, guys. Pre-move, 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 pre-move. One thing you guys have maybe seen on the habits sheet is that all moves under 2 seconds should be a pre-move. And I changed that from the level 2. In level 2, I said, you know, under 10 seconds, you can pre-move. It's not on the pre-move sheet. Then I'm saying it right now. Under 2 seconds, I think regardless of the accuracy of your moves, you should pre-move. If you have less than 2 seconds, just pre-move. I don't even care what the moves are. Just do it. Just do it. If you know what a pre-move is, then you should be able to do it under 2 seconds. Now, you might make a pre-move and it gets canceled because they stop it. That's fine. I'm saying you should try your best to pre-move under 2 seconds. Okay, if you don't know what a pre-move is, please leave the classroom. Go back to, I think it's room 101 down the hall. Should be level 1 habits. You'll find the guy who was asking about queen d5 there. You guys will be seatmates. Okay? Pre-moves are when you make a move. Okay? You make a move before it's your turn. And then that move is going to be your move regardless of what your opponent plays. That's exactly what you need to do when you're under 2 seconds. So obviously I'm playing with high accuracy, very high accuracy. But right here, let's just say this position. even if you guys don't have high accuracy here, literally take your king and go like this. You know what I mean? Like just pre-move it around. Obviously, in this case, it wouldn't matter because the guy has 2.5 minutes and you have 2 seconds. You're totally screwed. But most of the time when you're pre-moving, your opponent is also low on time. Let's say he has 5 seconds. If your opponent has 5 seconds here, you have 2 seconds, and you start pre-moving like just random king moves, that's going to be better than trying to like think of the best pawn move. Way better. You're probably going to win on time. So you absolutely should start pre-moving like a madman. Like your life depends on it. When you're under 2 seconds, just send it. Just send it. The accuracy does not matter. Does not matter. If you have accuracy and pre-moves, you're going to level 4. You're on your way. Okay, let's analyze. 81.7. Very acceptable. Very acceptable. Now, the opening. What is the point of the opening? What is the point of the opening? Point of the opening is we want to play d4. Okay. Point of the opening is we want to play d4, plain and simple. Okay, so what are we talking about here? We're talking about c3. I think it can be played before knight f3. I think it can be played after. The bottom line is this is something that we're going to take a look at as what we're going to play going forward. When you see the Sicilian, we're going to go for a setup with c3 where we're trying to play d4. If he takes us, we take it back, and we own the center. We have these 2 pawns in the center. If you guys remember, I think it was a game I played with Dan. I think it was like this. This is the Mora. But one of the games, it was like this. And I played this, and his opponent played this. If you guys were watching earlier, and this was a game that was over in 20 moves. It's just a crush. Just a crush. Now, c3 prepares d4. When you prepare to play d4, if your opponent knows what he's doing, he's going to try to stop you. How can you stop the move d4? There are actually only 2 moves that are really relevant to stopping d4. And the only way to stop d4 is to attack e4. So black is going to play this move or this move. They attack that pawn. You say, why is that relevant? Well, attacking that pawn is very relevant because it's something that I have to respond to. I have to respond to that before I can play d4. And I cannot bring my knight out to comfortably defend it because my pawn is there now. Right? My pawn is there. You play e6 as black here. There you go. If you play e6 as black, you are making a mistake. e6 is not good. So everyone, if you want to get into matchmaking queue right now, make sure to challenge Nifa. Make sure to challenge Nifa. You will probably win in about 20 moves. So Nifa, you are what we call a walking W for everyone else. You're a walking W. Because e6, you're allowing me to do exactly what I want to do. Okay? e6, I'm going to go d4. And we get a position like this. Now you can make a choice here. You can choose to play the French. I don't wish that on anyone. Or you can play something like knight c6, thinking you're still in a Sicilian. And I'll play d5. And I'll very likely beat you within the next 10 moves. Right? Probably going to go knight e7 to get out of this. I'll attack your knight again. You'll move your knight. I'll check you, and you already lose a piece, and consider resigning. It's very, very, very natural to get into trouble. Sicilian players will always get into trouble when they try to play the game like they're normal Sicilian. So, everybody who knows the Sicilian variations, they should know that g6, d6, and e6 are all very, very popular moves here. Very popular moves. All of them suck against c3. They all suck. Okay? Because they all allow me to play d4. Okay? So all these moves are going to be great. That's exactly what you want to see. You get your d4, you get your knight out to c3. So no matter what the position is, this is what you're going for. Something like this. You know, get your knights out, you got your center, your bishops can go to simple squares, that's it. So that's what we're going for. That's our goal. Now our opponent hopefully is going to prevent that. But if they don't, just so you guys know, stuff like this, you're looking to play d4, you're looking to harass this knight early with quick d5, and just get the pieces out. Nice and simple. Okay? So that's what we're going for. If they know what they're doing, they're going to stop you in one of two ways. What about e5? That was our game, actually. The game that I just played was c5. Or it was e5, rather. I played bishop out, I castled, I defended my pawn, and then I played d4 right after that. Now, if he took here, I would have been happy. Bring my knight out, bring my bishop out. It's simple. We'll just say that. So e5, I'm happy to play d4 anyway, just once I castle and defend my pawn. Okay. So, better moves. Knight f6, d5. What are we going to do against those? d5 we'll look at. Knight f6. He's attacking our pawn. It's a good move. It's a good move. Now, my favorite thing to do after knight f6, favorite thing, d4. If they take, okay, they take, e5 transposes, because we're going to see something like this. And we actually saw this exact same position in a Dan game. You guys remember earlier, if you're watching the Rapid with Dan and myself, this was something that we saw. This was something that we saw. We saw e5 and pawn takes. Okay? This is fine. We want to get these positions. Knight, bishop, castle. All right? Easy. That's our idea. Now, if I play d4 here, it's pretty much going to be the same thing as playing e5, right? If I play e5 and the guy goes knight e4, not that concerned, right? Knight e4 is not a good move. He's trapping his own knight. Okay, we're just attacking. He just loses a piece. Okay, so he's going to go to d5. And then our follow-up is going to be, let's say, d4. Okay, and d4 we've seen before. He's going to take and he's going to take. So you see it's the exact same thing. Transposes. Okay? So that's what you're going to go for. That's just remember that as a general principle, a general theme. That's the kind of thing you're going for, and you can follow the habits from there. You're going to play e5, you're going to play d4. Okay? Simple. Now, d5. d5 is the other move that black can go for. And it also attacks this pawn. Okay? And it's the same idea as knight to f6. Knight f6 attacks the pawn. We had an answer for that is e5. After d5, can I play e5? Well, of course I can, but it's not attacking a knight anymore. It doesn't gain any time. It doesn't gain any time. Okay, so when we see e5, I already mentioned to Dan earlier today, it applies here. If we can make a move that brings our opponent's queen out into the middle of the board early, do it. Same thing in the Scandinavian. When you see the Scandinavian move 1, you take it. We want to bring our opponent's queens out. The guys are going to be 1100. What are they going to do with their queen in the center of the board? They're just going to get attacked a bunch of times. It's very, very normal. And it usually works out that when you have the queen in the middle, it gets blundered more than it doesn't. You know, it gets blundered more times than it actually does damage to you. So bring the guy's queen out. You want that. This is what you want. Let's say you follow up with the move d4. How many people are going to take this? Oh, an insanely high number. An insanely high amount of people are going to actually take this pawn. They're going to take it. You're going to take back, and you're going to bring your knight out. Okay, you're going to attack the queen. Very high number of people are going to take it. You're going to play knight c3. Yeah, 95% is fair. Like, trust me. Guys are going to be taking your pawn. At a higher level, of course, you know, they don't have to be, but they are going to be taking it. You're going to bring your knight out to c3, attack the queen, and imagine your opponent plays knight here. You're going to bring your knight out. They might bring their queen back. You're going to play d5. If you can ever play d5 in the opening, do it. Do it. You're going to crush your opponent. You're going to crush him. You're going to have really easy development, castle. You're going to put the guy in a coffin. Okay? If they're, you know, playing against the pawn the way they should be, they might play e6 to stop that. But even if they play e6, you know, if they're doing some fancy stuff, remember, what's your goal here? Bishop d3, castle ASAP. Once you're castled, You get to play with an isolated pawn. You get to have your pieces going exactly where they want to go. Rooks, where should they go? Probably right here and right here. Knight, maybe at some point can jump into e5, but you're just going for a simple setup, all right? Bishop d3 and castle. That's all you need to remember. You can go with the habits from there. If you can play knight c3 and d5, though, do it. Do it. Do it. Here, let's just say, I don't know, bishop f5, knight here, queen back, d5. Again, it's another example. If you can bring that pawn to d5 early, do it. That knight is not comfortable moving around again. Okay? So that's like a 10-minute explanation. I'm not going to go deeper than that. But keep in mind that when we played against the Sicilian, we are going to be playing c3, and we're going to try to play d4. Okay? We're going to try to play d4. If we can play d4, we will. If they play d5 or knight f6, okay, we have our moves ready for that. We're either going to take or play e5. That's it. Okay, I'm not going to explain more than that. It doesn't need more explanations. If you're ever not sure how to handle the position after that, just fall back on the habits. That's why they're there. That's why they're there. But we're going to try to set ourselves up for success with this opening. Should be a little bit better than what we've been doing. The bishop c4 variation against the Sicilian is not that great. Okay, so we're going to change that up. All right. We're playing Jerome from 1874. I believe he's one of our regular viewers here. Let's play c3. The reason I know he's a regular viewer is that he's watching right now and still doesn't know that he's supposed to attack the pawn. Definitely a chessbrah viewer. So we're going to play d4. Okay. Knight's out. Knight's out. And remember, I said if we can play d5 early, we will. We are going to be playing d5. You can trust me on that. So let's just go for it. There are other ways to play, believe me. You know, lots of good ways, but I'm just going to immediately go for d5. We'll go from here. Knight e5. Okay. Let's take that trade. Bishops need to develop. I have a little bit more space compared to my opponent here, which is nice. Bishop here, bishop here. I'm going to choose bishop here. Castling is an early thing I'm going to do. e6. Now, this is a perfect example of something we're transitioning in level 3. We don't need to be reactive. When I see this move, level 2, boom, that's a capture. I'm grown. I'm level 3. I see this move. Am I going to take that and help you develop? Ah, I'm chilling. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm castling. Look, you want to take me? I got 2 things I can take back with. I don't need to be rushing to try to help you develop your pieces. Okay, I'm just going to castle. Do my thing. He goes knight e7. Okay, he wants the castle. His bishop still hasn't developed, though. And if he takes, I'm always ready to take back. Okay, let's just develop our pieces. Bring the bishop back. Okay, I'm going to stick with the habits, though. Queen d2. Of course, my rooks would like to go to the middle. I have a question, though. Where should my rooks go? Where should my rooks go? 2 squares. I'm not going to just, maybe they should be in the middle, but I'm not just going to autopilot them. I want to actively think, what's the best place for the 2 rooks? I think pretty much everyone says c1, e1. Pretty much everyone. Okay, c1 is a nice, easy answer for most people because, hey, that's an open file. So I completely agree with rook c1. I completely agree with rook c1. As for the other rook, why do we like e1 as opposed to d1? Well, I'm assuming that it's because we're maybe starting to get the idea that if this happens, it's actually going to be the e file that opens up. So we want to be there ahead of time. We want to be there one step ahead. Okay, so now we got our rooks where we want them. Let's play h3. We're going to stick to the habits. And funny thing about this position is because I haven't taken this pawn, my opponent is experiencing some difficulty developing his bishop. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted that to happen. Okay, if you take early, this bishop would already be there, and he'd have a much better position. You can see his bishop only gets to go to this square. Definitely not as strong. Not as strong. Yeah, if he takes, he might run into trouble. So he's played a good move, just bishop d7. Of course, after he plays bishop d7, I would give a lot more consideration to taking, for sure. Okay, let's just stick with the idea of a random pawn move. He plays f6. Okay, we'll bring the bishop back to the middle. Start with that. Bishop back to the middle. Basically, with this move, he blocked his own bishop, so I'm not too unhappy. Not too unhappy. And he's made a queen move that I find very suspicious. Why? We brought a rook to the middle, right? If our rook was on d1, we would not have this move available right now. We wouldn't. If our rook was on d1, this would not be available. It was on c1 because it was an open file. So that's just an example of difference between level 2 and level 3. You start to be very conscious about where you put your rooks. You don't just bring them to the middle and, you know, job's done. That's not good enough anymore. That's not good enough anymore. You have to think about the best places for your rooks. Rook in an open file? Absolutely. Fork? Absolutely. Okay, we're attacking 2 rooks. This is good. This was a discovered attack on the queen, and then followed up with this. Okay, it's nice that when we're attacking 2 rooks, if the position hasn't really changed, I don't really need to change anything. I can just take this back, right? It's up to me to cash in my rook, and right now, I'm attacking both of them. They're not going away. Is this scripted? Yes, absolutely, it's scripted. Okay. Teachable moment. If you can take your opponent's rook or take your opponent's piece, which one do you take here? Very simple question. It also has a very simple answer. The rook's worth 5 points. The knight's worth 3. I see a lot of people saying rook. You're all wrong. Correct answer is knight. Although rook's worth 5 points, you have to remember you're giving away 3 points for it. You're giving away 3 points. So the math doesn't add up. The math doesn't add up. Okay, maybe let's offer a rook trade and bring our pieces to the middle. Let's take. Okay, so basic math, if you can get 3 points just for free versus taking 5 and giving up 3 of your own, would also indicate that you should do that. However, on top of that, you should always follow the general principle that if you can take something from your opponent for free, yoink, that's mine now. That is almost always going to be better than taking something from them and giving something back. Even if the trade is in your favor, if you take something and give something back, that's an imbalance that might be more difficult and often is more difficult to handle than just taking something for free. Taking something for free, you simply have a piece that they don't, and the game is usually a lot easier to win. A lot easier to win. So we're going to take this. Looks like a free pawn. Looks like a free pawn. What's the best way to learn basic openings and common responses? Watching this stream. That's exactly what we're going through today. I've already talked about a lot of basic openings and common responses. F8. Good move. I'm going to take this. A check. Was bishop c4 a move? Of course it was. Of course it was. We're not going to try to get too fancy. You know, we have to remember we're grown at level 3, but a lot of our ability comes from the fact that we're improving a lot of our openings and a lot of our decision making. But it doesn't mean we can just start playing OP moves all the time. Of course, bishop c4 is very strong. You guys find that move? Brilliant. That's all you need. But my point is you do not need it to succeed. We have already improved in a lot of other areas. Bishop c4. That's checkmate in one anyway. GG. As you jump into analysis, you'll probably notice that my opponent played g6. And I told you, they are going to mess up like a high percentage of the time. It's very normal. It's very, very normal. They're going to play this move, this move, this move. These best moves are going to be different from moves they're going to play in their normal Sicilian. So think of it this way. Think of it this way. When you play the Sicilian as black, if you forget about the move c3, let's say the move e6 is always what you do against d4. You take and play e6, or you play d6 or g6. So basically, you know, you're telling a kid when he's leaving the house, like, hey, remember, when you go to school, you walk straight, you turn right, you go 2 blocks up, and then you take a left, and then you're there. Now, playing c3, that's like closing off one of the streets. Now, the kid is stupid. The kid is still going to go out his door, turn right, 2 blocks, and then turn left. He's not going to think, oh, there's fucking construction on the road. I should take a different route and still get there. No, he's not going to change what he's doing. He's been doing it every day. He's walking to school every day. People who play this opening, this opening, this opening, they've been playing the Sicilian every day. They're going to keep playing it. Even though you've changed something, I've changed the location of the whole school. Dumb kid's still going to end up fucking straight out. It's like, dude, the school is over here now. Way different. All right? But it's very important to understand that you cannot play the exact same way against every single opening in chess. That's very, very rare to be able to accomplish. Chess would be too easy. Chess would be too easy. You have to change the moves you're playing based on what your opponent is playing. So what I'm doing is I'm exploiting the fact that nobody does that. People like to play the exact same way because it's comfortable. So after c3, they're going to play the exact same way, g6, because it's comfortable. That's what they've been doing, right? Against d4, they're going to take and play g6. So against c3, they're like, all right, fuck it, g6. And you're going to play this, and you're going to have a great position. And they're not going to know why you have a great position. Okay, so plain and simple, that's why we were playing c3 as an opening. Okay, the opening that we got was already better than some of the ways that we've been playing against the Sicilian in the past. The rook decisions have already been a lot better. Really, really good. Okay? Why am I getting blunder every move? It's because knight b5 has been very, very strong for many moves. And we're going to be missing these things from time to time. But our position is not getting worse. We're just missing a win. Our position is not getting worse. We're not making terrible moves. We're just missing a chance to execute a tactic. But a more advanced tactic, in my opinion. And because he played this, he actually helped us walk right into it. And from here, the game was pretty easy. Okay? So, against the Sicilian, you just saw it in action. We're going to be playing c3 and d4. That's the idea. We're going to go to the next game. 5 minutes. Let's see what we get. Oh, we got the white pieces again. You see, I aborted that game, and we've had the white pieces ever since. Easy clap. c5. Okay, well, this is great. We get to see another example of what might get played against us. Okay, c3. We know what we want to do. Obviously, the kid is an idiot. The school's over there. He has no idea. Gonna play d4. He's gonna take. Okay, knight there. As I said, knight here and d5 in some order are going to be very, very strong moves. d5. Knight here. You really want to rush the move d5. Okay, knight there. I'll take it. And I'll play knight here to defend my pawn. e6. Am I going to take the pawn on e6? Am I going to take it? No, we've talked about this. Taking it just helps him. But this happened last game. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to help him develop. Right? There's no chance. No chance. I'm going to focus on my development. And look, if you want to take me, I got this more than defended. More than defended. Okay? So let's put our bishop on, say, a very normal square. Very normal square. Bishop b4. Now, bishop b4. Great thing about this is, oh, you just lost the game. That is a puzzle rush tactic that everyone at level 3 tactics should be able to see. Everybody. That is a level 2 tactic. If you're at level 3 and you're missing stuff like that, get back to the tactics. Get back to the tactics. Okay, that is a fork. And he resigned the game. Remember when I said we were going to be winning games in 9 moves? There's another one. Okay, how quick was this? How easy was this, right? Look, I told you. He's not going to do this because this guy is clearly a guy who would do this. He's clearly a guy that does this. Right? So when he sees c3, he doesn't see the difference. He's just playing what he's normally doing. And now he's got a bad position. It's good for white already. Look at this evaluation. You see that? +1. +1. Am I up a pawn? No. But the evaluation is +1. It's as if I am up a pawn. That's how good the position is after like 5 moves. Okay, you guys know we're going to stick with e4, e5. f4. Ah, this is exciting. This is exciting. We don't see f4 too often. We don't see f4 too often. Well, we don't have any habits for this move. In fact, I don't think we've ever seen f4 purely against us yet. We've seen the Vienna. We haven't seen the King's Gambit. We truly haven't. C6 says Al Hashmi. Some tricky moves from Al Hashmi. Okay, he takes. Take it back, sure. I don't really think of the habits rules as a certain rating that it puts me at, or that it gets me to. More, you know, for some people it might get you to 1600. For some people it might get you to 1200. I think it'd be different for everybody. Keep the tension in the center. Keep the tension in the center. I'm going to try to develop like this. Castle. I've got my pawn here, but again, I don't normally develop it. Or defend it, rather. If he wants to take it, he can. Why not c6? Believe me, this is one that we're going to need to talk about. The King's Gambit is not something that, you know, just gets a 2-second explanation. We're going to talk about it, and this is another opening we're going to have to commit to memory. Thought you ran out of memory? What do you mean ran out of memory? I don't remember that. Ooh, thank you, Loafs. Thank you, Loafs. It does. It really does. If anyone has a premium membership that they're renewing, we have a link, !premium, or if you're thinking about getting a premium membership on chess.com, !premium, we do get an affiliate cut of the proceeds, so it does help us out a lot. It has ruined. It has. I think it's time to start going for a whole bunch of these trades. Okay, and what is the resulting position? I mean, it's not bad. It's pretty regular. Pretty regular. He's gonna get this pawn back, and I'm just finishing up The habits. Finishing up the habits. So, let me just deal with this pawn. The question is, where should the rooks go in this position? Where should the rooks go? So I think pretty much everyone saying e8, d8. The problem is that pretty much everyone would put the rooks here, and then our opponent would go here and move his bishop, and you'd all lose your pawn. That's it. That's it. You just all lose the pawn. Because this rook is actually going to be necessary here based on what's happening. He's about to double his rooks. He's going to have all 3 of his pieces hitting that pawn. So is this a special case? I would say yes. I would say yes. These look like great rook moves, but I definitely feel the need to commit a piece to defending f7. You block with bishop f6? Damn, we got some stubborn guys. We got some blockers in the chat. Damn. What would happen after bishop f6? What if you got rid of your bishop? What if you played some forcing moves like maybe g4, g5, or maybe bishop h4 when your bishop was there? I feel like I'd be a little scared of that, you know, long term. Bishop f6 is a way to deal with the f file, but I would say it's a temporary measure. It's not something that you can rely on long term. You believe in your ability to defend. Respectable. And what on earth is happening now? That looks like a sacrifice. Hey, I don't know sacrifices. I don't know what sacrifices are. I'll tell you what I do know. I do know what discover checks are. You guys were all scared, weren't you? Monk W. Relax. We got advanced tactics now, boys. We chillin'. Oh wait, you guys didn't see that? You guys are supposed to all know advanced tactics by now. You guys are all supposed to know advanced tactics by now. Oh, come on. Come on, guys. I thought that was basic. I thought that was something we gotta have under lock and key. Let's save our bishop. Second rook? Okay, this is concerning. Are you guys in the right class? This is level 3 habits, by the way. Definitely not in the right class. Okay, let's double the rooks. They're nice and safe together. Queen d5 or queen d6 to break the pin? Yeah, I would say so. Moving the king or queen d5? Definitely a good way to do it. What's up, X Moto Linux? Slightly advanced tactics? Maybe slightly advanced, a good way to put it. Now, you might be wondering, why am I doing all the tactics that might not be played in the game? I'm doing them to show you what kind of tactics you should be looking for. So you can look back on it and see what you should be, like where your instincts should be, what kind of tactics you should be looking for. Well, maybe loafs, but when you say that's pretty advanced, that's the whole point. at the moment. Discovered attack. I think that's something we're gonna do every single time. If it backfires, we're gonna learn. But for now, I'm gonna be happy to use a discovered attack. Oh, plundering the queen, we'll take it. Why are we analyzing this one? Because we are against the King's Gambit. Hello, BJH. Thanks, Jamie Shortseller, for the 2-month resub. Peter 141210 and Travis Jeffrey, tier 3 for 16 months. Thanks, Peter, for the 8 months. Thank you, boys, for the resubs. Okay, so we need to just find something to do against this opening that is going to get us to a remotely playable position. That's all we need. That's all we need. Okay, so first of all, King's Gambit. If you actually, for example, the engine kind of tells the story. The King's Gambit is a very tricky opening, absolutely, and it's very playable. There's nothing wrong with the King's Gambit, but if you look at the evaluation, minus 1.3, that's a little bit different than, let's say, the Queen's Gambit. You play the Queen's Gambit, and it's actually, still has a positive evaluation for white. You play the King's Gambit, and it's like, whoa, minus 1.3. So don't let the engine, drive your entire understanding, but just know that the King's Gambit doesn't have the best reputation at the top level, but it's very, very dangerous at this level. So if we take, if we start by taking, what's going to happen? They're going to knight f3. They don't want to get checked. It's pretty normal. Okay. I decided to go knight here. Okay. Why did I decide to go knight here? Well, if my opponent played the move e5, then the actual best way to play this position is to put our knight here and to play d6 or d5 next and develop the pieces. Now, is that like the easiest thing to understand? I don't think so. Knight's going to be on the side of the board. There's a whole bunch of things that are going to be complicated here. And the thing about the King's Gambit is if you don't play it well as black, you won't just get in trouble. You might get checkmated, or you might lose a piece. So that's why the King's Gambit is very tricky. Is that the King's Gambit requires you to play pretty well for a large part of the game, right? As soon as you start to, maybe you play here and that's a book move, and you're like, okay, I'm pretty happy here. And then all of a sudden, white plays a few more moves, and then after this, for example, you choose the wrong move. Maybe you play knight here, and it's like, wait a minute, that wasn't the right move. You might already be in serious trouble. Knight d5. You say, why not knight d5? Well, why not knight d5? Again, knight d5 is an inaccuracy. Boom. Engine already screaming at you. This is exactly what I mean. The knight moves to the center of the board are both moves that aren't as good as a knight to the side of the board. So how confusing is that, right? How confusing is that? Okay, so that's why I think the King's Gambit is a very dangerous weapon. Very dangerous weapon. But doesn't mean that we have to enter all these dangerous lines. For example, g5, top move. Are we going to be sitting here playing g5? No. No. I think there's a couple very simple options against the King's Gambit that don't go into any of the nonsense and just get us a playable position that we can just get out of the opening with, and we don't have to worry. We don't have to be too concerned going forward. So, number one, I would say one of the simplest ways to play against King's Gambit is d5. I don't necessarily think it is the best, but it's up there. d5, they're going to take you on d5, and one of the things they're going to try to do is not immediately take this pawn. It might sound strange, but we're just making him take us so that he can't harass my knight with e5. And now I get to play moves like this, and castle. Very quickly. Okay? So this is just a really safe... I don't think you'll see the King's Gambit that often, honestly. If you do see it, I think that taking it, playing d5, taking back, and then this position is one where I think it's very easy to follow the habits that we've outlined already. What if they play e5 instead? Oh, they absolutely can. They absolutely can. And am I going to be playing g5 to back this up? I'm not. I'm not going to be playing g5. Okay? Even though it looks tempting. Probably here, what I'm going to want you guys to do is to just develop the pieces, as best you can, following the habits. So, do I want to see g5? No. Is e5 a mistake because of g5? Yes. Yes. g5 is going to be a good move. But white just wants to play this, and bishop takes. So I think something as simple as like c5, knight c6, bishop e6, knight e7, knight g6 is going to be good enough. Okay, we're going to get our pieces out, more or less following the habits. We can't access that square, so we're going to have to go to e7 instead. g6, bishop out, knight out, and then this bishop can go to e7 or c5. So, do I think that you're going to see a lot of King's Gambit? I actually don't. Maybe it is more common than I think, and if it is, maybe I'm going to take a lot of losses at this level. But for now, my 5-minute explanation is let's take this pawn and let's play d5, and we'll get the pieces out following the habits very simply. The reason that I'm not going to spend more time on this or choose a more difficult line maybe is because I don't think it's going to be seen that often, and I think it's much more important to focus on the things that are going to be statistically more probable. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Play the odds a little bit. Spend more time analyzing and preparing for things that you're going to see more often. I think that makes sense. Okay, so that's our plan. We're going to take and we're going to go d5. We're going to try to get the pieces out like that. Okay? That's it. That's it. We're not going to play knight h5. We're not going to do, okay? we're going to stick with d5 and bring the pieces out. That's going to be our answer. As for the rest of this game, it doesn't really matter because, I was playing, as you can see, I was playing moves that don't work very well. Playing moves that don't work very well, right? I was just kind of autopiloting. Why is this move a mistake? Because I missed that queen e7 is hanging. But the reason why I'm not going to spend time on this game is because we're not going to play this move anymore. We're going to play this move. So it's not going to apply. Okay? G5 is a very complicated move. If you guys want to play it, okay, go learn it. Go learn it. I'm going to go for something way simpler that is hopefully easier to explain and less to remember. Why? You're going to have to remember so many opening things. So if you think about the statistics, I would rather you guys spend your brain power remembering the things you're going to see more often than remembering a whole complicated line with g5. And it's like, yeah, great. If the 4 people out of the 1,000 games you play the King's Gambit, congrats, you might crush them. But the 400 people that play the Sicilian also need to be crushed. And if you're spending a lot of your time memorizing a line like this, you're going to be forgetting maybe things that you need to remember in more popular lines. So there's a lot of openings in chess. I don't think this is one you need to spend a lot of time on. This is a very simple 2-second answer. It's good enough for me. All right, e4, e5. Knight f3, knight c6. Bishop c4, bishop c5. Ah, something new. Something new. b4, the Evans Gambit. Shout out to the homie Evan for inventing this. Now I have to deal with it. That's the Evans Gambit. And you see, it's a miracle. We're at level 3 habits. All of a sudden, everyone's playing a ton of new gambits we've never seen before. Right? So how are we going to react to this? Well, we're going to take it. And I'm not actually taking with the knight because I'll lose my pawn here. Okay? Important. Important. So how am I going to react to the Evans Gambit? As you may imagine, I am about to present you with the easiest, simplest solution to the Evans that you've ever goddamn seen. I'm not going to sit around here and have you guys be attacked by these nerds that play the Evans Gambit because they saw it in a YouTube video. No. Hell no. There's no way I would ever let that happen to you guys. I'm going to play bishop e7. He plays pawn to d4. What are we going to do after pawn to d4? Anybody? I'm just going to support the center. Am I going to take and allow Buddy to start pushing? No, I'm just going to play d6. I'm going to take and get his whole pawn center. We've been trying to avoid that. In fact, I've been trying to get that with white. C3, d4. He plays pawn here. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to go back. Now, I want you guys to explain to me why my opponent should be happy with the Evans gambit. He's literally just missing a pawn. Isn't it just gone? There's nothing about this position that white should be proud of. He simply is just gone. It's just not there. That's all. It's just not there. I've lost 2 tempi. Damn. I've lost 2 tempi. Crucify me. I've lost 2 tempi. I've got a pawn, though. You know, I'm out here with a pawn. It's not the worst. Super ahead in development. I mean, he's got 3 pieces out and he's castled. I got 2 and I'm castled. And it's my turn. You know. It's not absurd. 2 tempi for a pawn. True. So he goes knight h4. As soon as I see knight h4, I should already be looking for discovered attack because that is a hanging piece. What should I be doing? I should be taking a pawn in the middle of the board. That knight is hanging. I can take a pawn. Which one? I actually think it's like fairly even in terms of like which pawn I would take. We're going to take this one, the one on e4. But the idea is the same. If you took on d5, you know, it's the same idea. So we're using a discovered attack. What is active chess? Active chess is like, my opponent is playing active chess, for example. So he moves his knight from e4 to g5. He's actively trying to lose a piece. That's active chess. Okay, let's finish development. My opponent literally thinks I'm in Habits 101 or something. Is this a joke? You want to play queen there, or is that? Yeah, I have an oil check for this guy. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. Just get the fuck out of here, buddy. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The audacity of these guys thinking they're gonna make it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, show me some goddamn respect around here, you know? Show me some goddamn respect. Tunnel vision. I mean, my guy is really out here. He's really out here. They don't know they're playing a GM? Oh, no. I don't mean that he should respect me as a GM. I mean, he should respect me as an 1146. Even for an 1146, it's like, buddy, you know. Why am I playing g6? Might have to do with his Energizer Bunny battery that he's got going on there. All right, my rook is getting attacked. I'm going to keep it in the center. He's disrespecting the good habits. Exactly. Some people miss it. Oh, I know some people miss it. But it's a good thing I don't have any of those people in my chat right now. You know what I mean? Because if anyone would like miss this and they were also watching, that'd be pretty funny. But obviously I know you guys would never miss it. So it's like, obviously we can make fun of it because you guys wouldn't miss it. So it's like, so that's pretty funny. It's a good thing. Oh, bishop c2. Boys, I think he's going for round 2. Boys. He's cycling back around. Bishop c2, queen d3. we got to watch out. There's a central pawn for me to take. I will execute the taking of that pawn. I will execute the taking of that pawn. Sure. Okay, trades. Always good. Free pawns. Even better. All of these are pass pawns. All of them can be pushed. All of them can be pushed. Oh, that's another trade. We're not going to think twice. Pick a pass pawn and push it. Pick a rook and take it. And we're going to clear the way for our brand new lady. Now we have a queen. We're going to execute the checkmating of the king. Check. Check. Oh. The ladder has broken down. The ladder has broken down. Check. Checkmate, buddy. So, what did we learn from this game? We learned all about the Evans Gambit. Let's take a look. Let's take a look, guys. The Evans Gambit. 89.2. Get him out of here, respectfully. Now, the Evans Gambit. A tricky opening, seriously. An opening that causes problems. Now, the Evans Gambit is something that if you try to react normally or very instinctively to it, I think you get in trouble. So, after this move, first of all, there's probably about 50% of people who are going to put their bishop here and lose the game 5 moves later. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you walking back into this? You just got out of it, type of thing. Okay, so ignoring the 50% of people there, let's find a better move. There's no way we want to go here and just walk into d4. D4 is his whole plan was c3. Okay, bishop a5. Some of you geniuses might say, oh, I'm pinning the pawn. Let's go. Okay, d4 happens. You take, the guy castles. You're greedy. You take again. The guy goes queen b3. He attacks your pawn. You realize you have to defend it. You go queen e7 and pretty much lose the game immediately after the knight gets to d5 and the bishop gets to a3. You will lose this game. Trust me. Okay, so that's the bishop a5, bros. There's the bishop a5 guys. There's the bishop c5 guys. There's also the bishop d6 guys. The guys who play bishop d6, you know, book move, they're feeling pretty good. It's like, buddy, you're blocking your bishop on c8. Let me tell you something. Newsflash, you're going to lose this game too. Bishop on d6 is something you just simply do not want in your chess games ever. Okay? Get out of there. Get out of there. Bishop e7. Me, an intellectual. Wow, what a great move. Let me explain queen b3. You guys are probably saying, hey, Hamba, queen b3. Dumbass, you're going to lose your pawn. Am I really going to play knight h6 here to defend everything? What's going on? Knight h6? Am I playing knight h6, really? Am I playing knight a5? Genius move? Beautiful move to let him take and then no, knight h6, guys. Queen there, knight h6. I'm going to defend. Tell me what I do after this. Tell me what I do after this. d4. He's gonna take my knight. Do you guys see it? Oh, that's right. I just gave you a hint. Knight a5. Knight a5. You're going to take his bishop. You're going to take his bishop. Get rid of it. An Evans Gambit guy who doesn't have this bishop he's not doing anything to you. He's literally not injuring you in any way. Dudes who play the Evans Gambit and don't have their light squared bishop, literally a headless chicken. They have no clue what to do. No clue what to do. Okay? You take their bishop, you will not lose the game. You will not lose the game. Move knights to the ring. Got it. Yep, you got it, guys. So what are they going to do after this? What are they going to do after this? They're going to go d4. Of course they're going to go d4. They just played c3. They just played c3. They're going to go d4. Now, how many of you guys are going to take this? Dude, probably like 90% of you. Probably like 90% of you. We're not going to take it. Guys, we're not going to take it. We're going to follow the Evans habits. Knight on the rim, brilliant move. Knight on the rim. Brilliant move. You might be like, dude, what's going on here? I'm telling you, if you take this guy's bishop, he won't have any clue what to do. He won't have any clue what to do. Knight takes e5, sure. You take his bishop, you play d5, I promise you, you will win this game. You will win this game. Takes, your knight can now develop to a normal square. You have two bishops, and you're going to castle. Nice and simple. Nice and simple. In fact, you can even decide to play knight f6 and take with a knight. Very similar idea. If he wants to keep his bishop, well, he obviously can't stay on this diagonal because you're covering all the squares, right? And if he goes here, you can always kick him away. So what if he saves his bishop? That's fine. Am I going to take this pawn? No. No. Guys, do not let this happen. Don't let two pawns appear there. That's not good. I'm going to play d6. Nice and chill. Nice and chill. Can he take? Oh, absolutely. He can take. Can he take it? Yes. But remember, the Evans Gambit, he already gave us a pawn. So I'm just going to develop my knight. I'm going to castle. He's going to move his knight at some point. I'll bring my knight back into the game. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. So very simply, against the Evans Gambit, what we're going to do is we're going to take the pawn. We're going to go back to e7. If they play d4, we're going to play knight a5. We're going to kick the bishop off this diagonal. If he lets us take it, we take it immediately. Always take that bishop if you can. If he moves the bishop back, you're not going to try actively to hang on to this pawn. That's not good. When people play gambits against you and try to hang on to the pawn, you're going to end up in trouble. I'm just going to go here. We can bring the knight back to c6. Knight out to f6, castle. Those are all moves that are going to happen next. All moves that are going to happen next. Queen a4 check, yes. Queen a4 check. What are we going to do here? We're going to play c6 so we don't blunder our knight. You're absolutely correct. They can go ahead and take here. Nothing's changing. I take back. I still want to do this. I'm attacking his bishop now. Even better. Even better. Okay? The knight can't be attacked. I'm not concerned. I can play b5 to kick his queen out later. Next move even. Okay? I'm going to give this pawn up intentionally. I'm going to play knight f6 and castle. That's all I want to do. All I want to do. Queen here. I'm going to defend that pawn. And my next move, I'm going to fork this queen and bishop, and I'm going to take that thing. If I take that thing, I can't lose the game. Tell yourself that. Dude, Evans Gambit, without this bishop, the guys have no idea what to do. No idea. Okay, that's it. That's it. We're not going to go deeper than that. How to recognize the Evans Gambit? It'll be when the guy plays this move, because b4 is the Evans Gambit. So you'll know it when you see it. It'll be the Evans Gambit, b4. So, that's all. We're going to play bishop e7. And, well, in my game, I played bishop e7. He played d4. Nice and easy. I played d6. Now, what happened in my game? Played d6. What should Buddy have done? Buddy should have played queen b3, right? Of course. Of course he should have. Did he do that? No. Unfortunately, James did not do that. Damn. Unfortunate. But, again, these games never matter because when I play them, I already know that I'm going to go into analysis and tell you guys what you should do afterwards. So bishop e7, and we're looking for knight a5 to hit that bishop. If he attacks our pawn, we're going to defend it, and then we're planning knight a5. So it's all about going here, trying to get his light squared bishop, and giving away a pawn back if necessary. Okay, that's it. That's all we're going to say on it. That's all we're going to say on it. If we see it again, you'll see me put that into action. Hey guys, just a reminder that building habits is going to be a regular series on our YouTube channel, so make sure to get subscribed if you are not already. Drop a comment down below for the algorithm and let me know what you thought about the video. See you next time.